What's going on, guys? My name is Steve. Thank you for stopping by my channel. I'm just an American guy on a journey to discover my British and Irish ancestry. Today, we're going to be reacting to the top 10 British TV shows America is obsessed with. Off the top of my head, the one show that comes to mind is The Office. I know that The Office was remade to have an American version that had Steve Carell in it, but I've never seen either version of The Office, but that is definitely a show that was very popular in America that originated from the UK. So I'm wondering if that show is going to be on this list. I'm actually curious if they're talking about actual British TV shows that, you know, Americans watch the actual British version, or if they're talking about British TV shows that were remade to have an American version. I don't know which they're talking about here, but I'm not really someone that watches a ton of TV. I do watch TV shows from time to time. When I, get interested in one, I'll give a show, a couple episodes, and if I'm really interested in it, I'll continue it. But it has to be something really good for me to, want to stick with it for a number of seasons. So this might actually give me an idea of some of the TV shows from the UK that I might actually want to check out to see if I would want to watch them. So anyways, guys, let's go ahead and check out the top 10 British TV shows America is obsessed with.
Turns out we're not the only ones hooked on these sublime series. Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 British shows that America is obsessed with.
Before I get started, I do want to say that one British show that I definitely enjoyed watching was An Idiot Abroad. That had, I can't think, was it Pinkington and, what's his name? Ricky Jarvis, I think is his name. I really enjoyed that show. It's been probably 5 years or more since I saw it, but yeah, that was kind of like a reality show, I think, and they kind of just traveled around to different places and things. That one was fun.
10 Catastrophe. The Americans got their first taste of this Britcom, albeit one that was created by Irish actress Sharon Horgan and American comedian Rob Delaney on Amazon Prime.
I'm pregnant.
Did you just say pregnant?
Yeah, I said pregnant. Do you want me to say it again?
This comedy series about a couple who barely know each other and fall pregnant together made waves across the pond for all the same reasons that it's loved in the UK.
Is he circumcised? Most American men are, I've heard.
Yeah.
What's that like?
It's brash, bold, and it touches on topics that writers normally shy away from. It also helps that one of its leading characters is played by a US comic, and that it features Carrie Fisher. Number 9, Monty Python's Flying Circus. And now for something completely different.
This does look different.
Your name, please, your name.
David.
David. Sure?
Oh, yes.
David. Sure.
No, Thomas!
This comically risque series became popular in America back in 1970.
Why do I know that name, Monty Python? I think everybody probably knows that name, but I have no idea who he is. I mean, is Monty Python, is that an actual person? Is that like a comedian, or is that the name of the show itself? I've heard of Monty Python. I don't know why. I don't know where I know it from. 69 to 74, right? So like that's quite old TV show. So maybe my parents or my grandparents or something like that knew that show. I don't know. That's interesting.
When a PBS station in Dallas began transmitting it, giving the Pythons an unlikely foothold in the country.
Now, how do you plead?
We're innocent.
Having once been labelled as a bizarre, unpredictable show, it's surprising just how well America took to it. Turns out its kooky, silly nature.
It does look very kooky.
Though. And with the release of their trio of feature films, the only way was up for the Monty Python team.
This is a late parent.
Number 8, Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders. Okay, I haven't seen this, but I've seen the I don't know, posters or like thumbnails or something for this. I recognize it because of the hats, and it looks like it's probably supposed to be from, I don't know, the 20s or 30s or something like that. I assumed it was an Irish show for some reason. But wonder what this is about. I guess they'll tell us what this is about. It's actually a show that I was potentially, interested in starting. So maybe I'll check it out. I don't know. Does anybody else like this show? Is it a good show?
This period crime drama set in 1920s Birmingham has well and truly
Birmingham.
taken America by storm. And this show, with its stellar cast, stunning sets, brilliant costumes, and engaging plotlines, doesn't disappoint. With Cillian Murphy at the helm, plus a key role for Tom Hardy, expectations were obviously high all around the world. But Peaky Blinders definitely delivers, regardless of which side of the Atlantic you're on.
Intelligence is a very valuable thing, isn't it, my friend? Usually it comes far too late.
Number
Okay, I would. That looks like something I would actually like watching. Is it over with now? I know. I don't know when this was from, but wonder if it's still going on or if it's the show's already over with. Merlin.
7 Merlin. This fantasy drama was one of the first British programs to be shown on network television in the United States, when NBC began transmitting the series in June 2009. So it's fair to say that Merlin was a pretty big achievement in the small screen world. The show later relocated to Sci-Fi, a cable network, tapping into the same kind of audience that had already become addicted to things like Doctor Who. And in a time before the likes of Game of Thrones, you can see why it was so popular.
Your challenge, last 1 minute, free combat. Grimond, second son of Wessex.
King Arthur, wizards, and a medieval world? Oh yes, please.
Okay, that type of show, that can be very hit or miss with me. I'm not huge on like too over the top fantasy world type shows. A little bit of fantasy is good, but when it's like just all about fighting dragons and things like that, it's just not my thing, But like, I definitely like the time period, and I definitely like kind of, I think I could potentially like that show based off of what I saw there. I don't know. The dragon thing threw me off. It's just, I don't know. But I don't know. I'll have to check that out and check out some trailers or something, see if I would like that.
Number 6, Luther. Unsurprisingly, the Brits aren't the only ones just slightly obsessed with Detective Chief Inspector John Luther and his work in the Serious Crime Unit. Idris Elba is a well-known face on American screens, what with the popularity of the Baltimore-based The Wire. But Luther doesn't just rely on its celebrity lead actor.
I'm coming for you.
Some brilliant storylines, well-rounded characters, and edge-of-your-seat style thrills are what makes this crime series so watchable, turning it into one of the most binge-worthy entries on today's countdown.
You're John Luther who sees all, knows all. Come on, John.
Number 4.
That one would be one that I think I could get into. I'd have to check that out. I definitely like the crime drama shows a little bit. There's a number of those in the U.S. I've got into before, but like I said, I'm not crazy. Like I'm not someone who like watches like a crazy ton of TV, but I do enjoy getting into a good TV show from time to time. But it has to be something that's really good for me to want to stay with it for a number of seasons.
5. The Fall.
The Fall. I've heard of that.
It shouldn't be too shocking that The Fall caught US attention. After all, two of its lead actors, Agent Scully herself, Gillian Anderson, and Jamie Dornan of 50 Shades fame, are both big Hollywood names. But if the star power is what brought the viewers through the door, it's the gritty nature of this show that kept them watching. The central chase to catch a serial killer isn't for the faint-hearted.
Can you give me a couple more hours?
I don't know, Mum.
But with Anderson's brilliant detective leading the way, this is one series that demands to be seen from dramatic beginning to the bitter end.
She was great in the X-Files. I've seen her in a couple other things, but the X-Files is obviously where I'll always remember her from. I mean, she did an excellent job with that show.
Number 4, Sherlock. Benedict Cumberbatch is clearly a household name now, but his journey towards worldwide fame probably started here.
She's got an umbrella in her left-hand pocket, but it's dry and unused, not just wind, strong wind, too strong to use her umbrella.
Because America is just as fascinated as Britain by Batch's modern take on Sherlock Holmes. Which really says something about Benedict's performance, because Sherlock closely contends with other American-made Arthur Conan Doyle adaptations, including CBS's similar series Elementary and the Robert Downey Jr.-led films.
This is my hard drive, and it only makes sense to put things in there that are useful.
There's just something special in the on-screen chemistry between Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman, spearheaded by Stephen Moffat and Mark Gatiss behind the scenes.
But it's the solar system.
Oh, hell, what does that matter?
Number 3, Black Mirror.
Okay, now this is a show I've watched. I haven't watched all the seasons and all the show, but I don't even have Netflix now, and that's where I watched that from. But that was a really, really well done show. It was just, I really think a lot of that show is unfortunately predicting the future in a little bit of the ways. If things continue on the trajectory we're going with technology, it wouldn't surprise me to see a number of the things that they've predicted actually happen. Very good show, though. I haven't seen all the seasons, like I said, but the shows that I have seen, the episodes I have seen of that show were actually really good.
This British anthology series, created by the super satirist Charlie Brooker of Screenwipe fame, is nothing short of captivating. With black humour, dark cynicism, and a sci-fi edge, Black Mirror is both a twisted reflection of our own current reality and a stark warning on where we're headed.
You could have forever.
Forever? Who can even make sense of forever?
With each story being a standalone production and each installment uniquely written,
I think that's what I like about it.
superbly acted, it's no surprise that America has jumped on this particular bandwagon, especially considering the endless supply of well-known faces too.
Well, you're supposed to say something like engage or increase thrust.
Just f***ing go.
So what's not to like?
Yeah, it's almost like every episode is its own. It almost feels like a new movie in a way. They're shorter than movies, but when you're watching those, it almost feels like a whole new movie each episode.
Number 2,
I've heard of Doctor Who, but I've never seen it.
While Doctor Who's original run gave it a kind of cult following status, the 2005 revival gained a whole new audience. The 1996 TV movie was a direct attempt to find a footing in the United States, and yet it failed to do so. But New Who arrived just as Star Trek Enterprise went down in flames, leaving science fiction fans in the US ready for something different to scratch their tech and fantasy itch.
Now we can end this hunt with a slaughter.
An old friend of mine loved Doctor Who. That was his favorite thing. This has been a long time ago. I haven't seen him. He's an old friend. I haven't seen him in like 10 plus years. But he loved Doctor Who, and it was one of his things. But looking at this, I don't know if I'd like it. For me to be, I like some sci-fi, I like some fantasy TV shows, or movies, but they have to be very, very good and very compelling for me to stick with them. Because, I can do crime dramas, I can do comedies and things like that pretty readily. But when it comes to the fantasy and sci-fi, it's got to be a particular type. I can't even explain what it is. I did like Game of Thrones, if that gives you any hint. I thought that was very well done. But I don't know. I'm not a fan of the original Star Trek. Never got into it. I like the later Star Treks, like Star Trek The Next Generation and so forth, but the earlier ones I didn't like. I've never been able to get into Star Wars, for example. It just hasn't never interested me. But so it's just particular types of fantasies or sci-fi shows or movies that I can get into, but it's just, I can't even explain what it looks like. So I'd be willing to give it a go, but I don't know. I'd have to see.
With higher production values, the writing talents of Russell T Davies, plus Christopher Eccleston, and then David Tennant taking the lead, Doctor Who became sci-fi supreme.
I look a bit different, but it's me. It's the Doctor.
Okay, what in the world is that? What is that? Okay, anyway. Anyway, maybe I will check it out because now I'm curious about this. Actually got me kind of curious. What is going on here? So yeah, maybe I will give that a try. Just, I don't know, see if I like it.
Number 1, Downton Abbey.
I've heard of that. I don't know why.
Of today's list is this incredibly popular period drama. Of course, America was going to become obsessed.
I didn't run Downton for 30 years. To see it go, lock, stock and barrel to a stranger from God knows where.
It's filled with themes and things that US audiences love. High production values, a period setting, a sense of English aristocracy, and a whiff of sophistication.
You know what all work and no play did for Jack.
You think I'm a dull boy anyway, don't you?
With its stately setting, interesting characters, and dramatic storylines, Downton soon became a favourite for households across the rest of the world too. Fueling posh British stereotypes for a brand new generation, but bringing it all together in undoubted style, it's a quintessential classic. If only everyone could sit in and drink tea all day, eh?
That one, I don't know. It might be interesting, you know. I don't know. I can't really tell. Some parts of this little bit they just showed have me thinking that I might find that interesting, and other parts are like, I'm not sure. But there's definitely a few on here that I would give a try. I would try this. I would try this to see if I give it a couple episodes, see if I liked it. But one I think I really definitely will like if I try it is where's that? Peaky Blinders. I just seeing that. I actually when I've seen like the thumbnails or whatever, just looking at the way it looked, it just gave me that vibe of a TV show I'd actually like. I just never tried it though. To invest yourself into a TV show, it takes a considerable amount of time to sit down and actually, watch, spend time watching this. So, it's got to be something that you actually would find very interesting. And Peaky Blinders, I would definitely give a go. I don't know. Monty Python, I'm not really sure about that one. I think I would try the Catastrophe. That looks like it's probably fairly funny. I don't know about Merlin. Luther, I would give that a go. Sherlock, Black Mirror, I definitely like that show. I just I don't have Netflix now. I'm sure there's probably been other seasons since I've last checked in. Doctor Who, at first I was like, but then I saw a couple of little scenes here that I thought, you know what, maybe I will give that a go. And Downton Abbey. So most of these I would give a go, and I think I would at least find a few of these pretty interesting. And I definitely think Peaky Blinders, I think I'd actually really like that show. Absolutely. I think Catastrophe I would as well. It definitely reminds me that I do want to explore both British and Irish TV shows and movies more than I have in the past. It's one of those things. Before I got on this journey, it's just not something I went out of my way to explore. I really didn't have a reason to just go out of my way because, like I said, I don't watch a ton of TV as it is, and so it's got to be something that I kind of get introduced to because usually I'm not out there looking for TV shows very often. So it's got to be something someone brings to my attention, generally speaking, and I've just never really had a lot of British TV shows or movies brought to my attention. And now that I've seen a few of these brought to my attention, I'm going to definitely check some of them out. Because, well, number one, just, this looks really interesting. And number two, I do believe, although a lot of TV shows are kind of outlandish, a little bit out there, not quite fully the truth about how things were or whatnot, I have a feeling I would learn quite a bit about British culture by watching some of these TV shows. Because, ultimately, if these TV shows are designed to appeal to mostly British culture or British people, then it would give me some sort of subconscious insight into more about the culture and the British people in general, which is a big part of my journey here, obviously. So, yeah, guys, I thought this was an interesting list, and I definitely took away a few shows to look into. And thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video or others. Also, feel free to share your recommendations of things you think I might should check out when it comes to TV shows or movies or whatever. And don't forget to subscribe to continue to follow me on my journey to discover my British and Irish ancestry. Until next time, guys, peace.